Hi, John here. I have three questions I've got to answer for the book publisher. I'll do them in three different videos. The first one is, why did I even write this book? Well, the story of Snarl originally began with a young boy out tracking wild animals on his own in the forest near his house. He's about 12. From his upper perch in bushes on a hillside, above some small open plain down below their house, that boy, Randy, spies the mother lion and two cubs. The kittens bounce around while the mother slowly plods forward, barely paying attention to her two frolicking youngsters. The boy carries a rifle for his protection. He's put too much oil on the gun, and following instructions from his father, he messed it up. The oil is soon on his hands and his pants, and it's even dripped on the tree trunk where he stands. And the smell of gun oil should be faint, but Randy sensed that the odor, because of too much, was not something to be so overwhelming, but it certainly was a foreign scent in the forest where he was. So one of the younger lion cubs, which Randy had just named Snarl, had stopped. Randy watched worried as Snarl began sniffing at the air, and slowly the cub's head turned in Randy's direction. The chapter ends with Randy rushing away, creeping hurriedly back toward his home. And Snarl leaves his family to trace the smell he picked up. He hadn't seen Randy. But neither his mother or his brother Spit have noticed Snarl's absence. So Snarl gets to the tree where Randy stood earlier, but after picking up too many confusing smells, melted candy bars, stinky shoes, hair, shampoo, and the unknown sweat of a human, Snarl abandons his tracking and he hops back to catch up with his mother and brother. Well, I spent the next two chapters writing about the Snarl family and quickly ended up with the scene how Snarl now begins. And that's how I ended up with the story I had. I dropped everything because I found the interesting story of a mother lion struggling to keep her mind sharp. And then I aged the cubs to near maturity to fit the scene of their devolving situation, because the mother must leave her cubs behind. The two lions are old enough to scrape by, and she's in no condition to be the dominant lion, and she hobbles off to die, and Snarl is left with his brother and must deal with what to do next. That's how I came to write this story. The drama of brother lions, one steady in mind and heart, and the other unsteady and unsure, filled the story enough. Randy was no longer essential, and I began a new purpose. Not about the human conflict of sport hunting, which I had found interesting, but the conflict of predator and prey in the animal kingdom. I'd originally weighed the morality of hunting as my plot, but that dilemma is difficult to explain to those who don't understand hunting. Few find it easy to read about the necessary function of culling predators and managing forest populations from the point of view of the hunter. Everyone, though, I thought would find the struggle of animals surviving in a world where the predators are from their own ilk, numerous dominant members of the animal kingdom. So how does all that play out? From that premise, I discovered the hard reality of existence and often violent life among all members of the animal kingdom. I wondered how God considered their lives, what influence he exacted upon them. Few members of the animal kingdom even encountered humans. So as the creatures of dominion, humans are poorly trained to do the work of stewarding animals that they can't even know, because we're primarily absorbed in our own existential crisis. So what does God do about that? That's the story I thought about. So many animals function as food and entertainment and research specimens. But how does their sacrificial role impact God's mercy upon their deaths? Are they just fodder for taste buds and medical experiments? I found no theology on the animal kingdom beyond sentimentality and the fallen world collateral of the animal kingdom. And thus began an adventure into their lives and how they live them. And that's the book Snarl. Thank you for listening.